Hey guys, this is my final reveal video for my Michael Wittmann Kursk Tiger 1 build, which originally was going to be my entry into the Tiger 75th anniversary Kursk group build. It's a lovely kit, very rare to get hold of. It was one that Cyber Hobby, I think, released back in 2006. It's highly sought after now, and they're getting rarer and rarer. In fact, the average price I've seen these go on eBay is for around about £250 to £300. And I was lucky enough to snap this one up about 3 years ago in an eBay auction where a guy was selling off some of his stash. And I won this one for about £69, so I had a bargain there, and I was glad I got it because, as I say, it's one of the highly sought after Cyber Hobby kits. I have to say the kit itself is a lovely build. There's a lot to it as regards to the etched brass. You get a metal barrel, all the goodies in this one, hence why it's sought after, because Dragon don't do that anymore, although they have introduced it into 2 or 3 of their latest releases, so maybe they've got the message. Anyway, without further ado, we'll have a look at the kit itself. And here she is. I'm just going to pull her up a bit closer. You can see. Sorry if the light's a bit dark. Actually, I'll pull it back a bit. That's a bit better. Pull the camera forward. And you can see a bit better. Sorry about the paraphernalia in the background, but the last time I tried shooting it the other way, oops, hello. Oh, something blocked it. I was told it was too dark, so I've had to do it round this way so you can see a lot more. To say, I'm very happy with the way it's come out. The build of the Tiger itself was extremely simple. I did a few sort of dent marks here. I didn't go so mad with the scuff marks on the armour using a drill. The paint was Tamiya's dark yellow and olive green camo, which was one of the most typical camos used during the Kursk campaign. The tracks were used with the dark iron, and obviously the spare tracks on the side and the tow cables and the antennae there. The tools are painted in AK tool set, which I've got somewhere along the line. I can't remember where it's gone now. And then after the Tiger was finished, I started assembling this crew set from Tamiya's, where is it? Okay, hang on. Marvellous, isn't it? When you're doing a video, you have everything ready and it's not there. Well, it was a machine gun crew set anyway. It's an old set that's been going a while. And the crew figures were kindly donated by my fellow modelling buddy Rick Connor, who sent me this Dragon set. And it was the first time I've actually done this sort of camo on their smocks, which was typical of the time of Kursk, because they started introducing these. Although Michael Wittmann, once he got promoted, didn't actually wear that smock anymore. I was just actually basing it on a build which was done in an Osprey magazine of Wittmann's Tiger at the time of Kursk, which is this one here, which you see. The actual base was an old photo frame which I got for £1 shop. I just put down some sort of non-crack poly filler and then basically put over some Woodland Scenics, oh God, what do they call it, medium ballast. Then just basically put a load of Steinerez over it, base coated it with olive green where the grass was going to be, and obviously then went over it with Tamiya's buff to give it that earthy look, as though it was a rough pathway on the eastern front salient. Then put down some static grass. I didn't see any static grass, but I don't know why I felt it was a bit flat, so I ended up ordering in some grass tufts from I think it's Games Workshop, and that sort of bounced it out, and then put a few sort of wild flowers in there just to give it a little bit of added detail to make it pop. And then got back on the figures, and basically the colours I used on those were from, you see, a mixture of German grey field set, which you see here from Vallejo, and also AK's Splitter Munster uniform colour set for the Tiger crew. So basically that's what I based them two on. It did take quite a while to get these figures painted up, as well as the figures for the crew of the Tiger. But whilst that was doing, I was finishing off the Tiger itself. Basically gave it a good old clear coat, put the decals down, which went on beautifully. And then after that I just used the old Tamiya enamel line flannel wash just to pop out some detail, which I'm doing from now on, which I learnt from Andy from Andy's Hobby Headquarters, and then just went over it with Flory's Dark Dirt Wash. Once I've washed that out, that popped all the sort of world scene detail out, which was nice. And then just went over with AK's Rust and Effects colour set, whereby I used the chipping colour for all the chipping where the armour's bashed up, etc. And then after that went around with the rust streaks, because obviously these vehicles were out on all the elements, so specifically I've done it on the front glacis here where the spade is. And then just basically put some, I think it was MIG's streak effects, just to give it a slight streak to feel, rain streaks on there. I know you can't see it now because obviously it's all dusted up. But it did look quite effective, just give it that sort of weathered look, as it were. And then once that was done, I just painted all the detail in. As I say, I went over the Dark Dirt Wash, which made it look really, really pop. And then on the back of the exhaust shrouds, which will be coming around in a minute, I used the old I used a little bit of Flory's pigments just to give the rust on the exhausts here, and obviously I used pastels for the exhaust shrouds where they were slightly burnt, where they got burnt with the heat, as it were. And then just went over the edge with the skirts, basically give it a little bit of a chipped effect, as though it's been bashed. Initially I did actually put silver in there, but it was pointed out to Modeler that it was actually a dark iron, so I went over it again with a dark iron. So yeah, that looked good. And then finally I put on, actually, which I've used for the first time, everybody keeps shouting out about it, it's Galeria's matte varnish by Winsor & Newton, and I did do a 50-50 mix of UMP thinners as well as that, and first coat went on beautifully, second coat came out a little shiny, so I mixed up some more, went over it again on the turret, and the figures came up like a sweet dream. And even with the figures, after I painted them, I just went over with the Dark Dirt Wash again, Flory's Dark Dirt Wash, to make the detail pop out, and then just dry brushed them. Obviously the final process along with the Tiger was to basically dust everything up, so I used buff on the actual running gear and the tracks, and then also under the lower part of the hull, which you can see here, just to give that dusty effect, because this is supposed to be in the middle of summer where it was sort of, the ground would be very dry. And that really, and then obviously went over the Galeria matte varnish on all the figures and that, and even on, if you notice on the figures, I've actually dusted up on the lower part of their legs, their boots and their trousers, just to give it that effect as though they're walking through dusty ground, you know, because it's very dry. So with the tracks on the Tiger, I finally just went over the steel parts here with a 2B pencil, to give it that sort of worn effect, as though it's been sort of wearing on the ground as it was going through. And then it was just a case of final assembly, putting the figures into the Tiger, and then basically gluing that down to the base with some super glue. And obviously I've done the same with the tracks. I've actually just put nibs of super glue in there and just to give it that weighted effect, as it were. I didn't do the pin method this time because I was in a rush to get this finished, and that was really that. And then put the figures down, position them, and that was that really. And this is the end result. All that hard work has been worthwhile, and I have to say I really am impressed with the way it looks. It's been great. I've had a lot of fun with it, done a lot of research into Kursk, and it's really sort of a typical scene where they're outside Profkarov. Michael and I've forgotten his loader's name, Bobby, stopped off just to go off, sort of have a quick break, and whilst they're doing that, machine gun crew typically is walking past on the steppes of Russia near the tank. So that is basis behind the story of this vignette really, and I think I may have pulled it off pretty well, so we'll see. So really guys, that's the end of this project, and it's actually the very last project for this year. I have to say the group builds that have been going on throughout the year have been absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the Kursk group build was one prime example. I mean, the amount of people that took part in that was amazing. Jumped on board was amazing. So yeah, I've learnt a lot, and I'm pretty pleased with the end result, guys, and I hope you are too. I will be posting them up in various forums on the photos, as well as this video, so we'll see. I'll probably do that sometime tomorrow because unfortunately I've been sick for the last few days. Nasty old stomach bug that's been going around, and it near enough wiped me out, to be honest with you, but I'm okay now. I'm on the road to recovery and I'm hoping to go back to work, and there you go. I no doubt all you guys will be out there doing your own thing for New Year's Eve. I unfortunately won't be. Unfortunately, New Year's Eve for me this year is a school night, as I've got to go to work on New Year's Day. Yeah, anyway, never mind. That's the joys of working in retail. But anyway, as I say, I'm very happy with the end result of this. It's taken its time, but it's been worth it, and always the best results take their time. And as I say, it's been fun doing this. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and pretty happy with the end result. So there you go. That's it. I've waffled on enough for nearly 13 minutes, which I'm due to run out on tape. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now, and Happy New Year to you all.